Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today in War Thunder it is time to go through some news and also the preliminary notes for update 1.95. As you can see on the screen in front of you, update 1.95 is actually coming out tomorrow, so look forward to it and also make sure to read through the patch notes. It's always good to read through them because as they did last time, they actually added a section in from people who actually put forward, their bug reports and stuff. And I thought that was really cool, and I hope they do the same thing for this one. It will also mean that there will be nothing, new to you when you go into the game for the first time in update 1.95, meaning that you should understand what is going on, at least from the outset. And if anybody has any questions, there'll be plenty of people on the Tech Hub who will be able to answer them for you. On top of this as well, they have a new location which is coming to War Thunder. This is South Kvarken, I'm guessing is how you say it. It is another naval map, and I'll be making sure to go around it and to see what it's like. But just from the outset, it looks absolutely stunning. Every one of these pictures looks completely beautiful, but the main thing to understand is it doesn't really matter how the map looks, it matters how it plays. And if you have a look at this, you can see there's a lot of small islands. There's a lot of areas there with some hard cover. The only question is, will this be a lower tier map or a higher tier map? And for me, personally, you can see here, in total the location holds about 70 islands with different constructions on them. I'm hoping there's enough hard cover and enough torpedo, torpedo restrictive areas, basically meaning that, you can't just keep torpedoing the enemy spawn and stuff like that. I hope there's plenty of those areas in this, and therefore it will be a fun map. On top of this as well, we're getting some better graphics for the Northwind updates, and this is in the form of some ray tracing stuff. So this spring at the NVIDIA GeForce RTX launch event at Gamescom 2018 conference, we presented our own vision of scalable global illumination for larger scenes, so ray traced global illumination. Now, at least from talking to a few people about what this ray tracing is, the idea is that the game itself actually projects the specific, sun rays, and therefore it is much more pronounced when it comes to its lighting, and it actually makes a lot more sense. That's why, ray tracing is seen as this large thing. Now, I'm still learning about it, so therefore, don't take my word as gospel. If you want to have a look through it yourself, please do. And also, this technology was mainly developed in Enlisted, if I remember. The presentation itself was actually based on Enlisted, and now it's coming to War Thunder, and also in Cuisine Royale, which is an offshoot of Enlisted, a Battle Royale game mode with all of the weird and wonderful things. So this is what it looks like before, and this is what it looks like after. So if your post-effect settings look a little bit weird after this update, this is basically why. They are changing the way that the world is lighted. Lighted? That's not a word. What is the word I'm looking for? The way that it is captured when it comes to the light that is around it. So yeah, it's as simple as that. The main difference, I suppose you can see, focus on these wooden bits here. You can see they're a lot more dull here, and here they have a nice little vibe. Also, in some other pictures, such as this one thing that can definitely be said is the shadows look more defined, and everything else looks a little bit more that it's covered in light. So yeah, it's really cool, and also this is not just for NVIDIA cards, it is also for AMD cards as well, since this isn't a proprietary thing. This is something that Gaijin has made themselves instead of another business, so therefore they've tried to make it run for pretty much everything. The next bit of news, when it comes to it, is some rumor roundup stuff from Smin. So, as we looked at a few days ago, there was a bunch of Apaches that were dumped in the files, 4 of them to be exact. You had an Israeli one, 2 Americans, and also what seemed to be a British one. And what Smin is basically talking about in this thread is the idea that the Apaches are not coming to the game in this update. You can see right here, he says, because as it already been said, often we cannot confirm or deny the final contents of an update until the update is basically upon us. Before then, it could go either way. Then it goes, as it happens, the Apaches won't be in this update. We did not confirm them, so there was no official indication they would be in this update. We warn people of the consequences of data mining hype all the time. Just because it's in the files, it's no guarantee it will be in the updates. And he's completely right. There's a bunch of stuff that's been in the files for years that has never made it to the game, but it does give a decent representation representation of what is coming in the future. So even though the Apaches are not coming this update, it is the fact that the models are there shows that yes, they will be coming in a future update, just not update 1.95. So it's something to look forward to. On top of this as well, this idea that they cannot confirm or deny the final contents of an update until the update is basically upon us. If that is true, that is also incredibly worrying. I don't know a single other gaming company that does that when it comes to the content that is available in their updates, especially when it comes to free-to-play games. And if he's, referring to stuff such as major bugs that they may not have seen or stuff like that, then I can understand. But if they're talking about full models being ready or being finished or not being finished, that's odd. That's really, really weird, and hopefully that gets ironed out. The next thing we're looking at is, of course, the preliminary notes for update 1.95. So let's go through them. Obviously, there are some known bugs. There's no real reason to go through them because of the fact that a lot of them I talked about on the dev server. There is one bug that I do want to bring up, which I hope doesn't bring to life, but then again, there's not really a way of fixing this one. So during the dev server, I had around about 30 crashes, and this was from loading into mission editor games, loading into test drives, loading into replays, and I actually crashed during a video. I believe it was the Prince Eugen video, where my machine just decided, no, I'm not going to work. And this kept happening over and over and over again, and it wasn't like my machine was being taxed. I was actually watching the levels of the CPU, the GPU, and, the heating as well, and nothing was getting, over temperature, or nothing was getting hot or overused, nothing was being funneled. Instead, the game was just hard crashing. So I really hope that doesn't happen. And also, during live streaming yesterday, when we were playing some Naval, it also hard crashed. So I don't know what's going on, but hopefully that is improved. I hope client stability gets improved. Looking at the vehicles, we've pretty much gone through the majority of them. If you want to have a look at the majority of these vehicles, just look at the dev server videos that I've done over the last few days. I do want to make one little comment though. I'm looking forward to the D14 and the K-class just because it's given a different line to the destroyers for Britain. I'm hoping that they'll also reduce some of the RP requirements, so therefore, you'll be able to play all of them instead of, getting the amount that you want and then moving on to light cruisers. On top of this as well, the WZ305 that we didn't cover. The reason why I didn't cover this is because I thought it would just be a straight copy of the ZSU57-2, and at least when it comes to usability, it will be. But the other thing is, they actually just added a HEVT shell to the ZSU57-2, and I'm guessing this WZ305 will get the same treatment, so that will actually make it, a lot better. Also, people have asked me what I've requested for this new update when it comes to vehicles from Gaijin. Right now, I have requested the STRV-103, and I've also requested the SAV-2012-48. I have not requested anything else, and I don't think I will. I am actually happy with just grinding out all of these vehicles, especially the Swedish tech tree and the French tech tree. And also, I've never asked for, vehicles to be researched in the past, and I will not do going forward. I want to experience what it's like to actually, play the game through for the average player. New location, New Zealand Capes. This was the naval map. Unfortunately, didn't get a chance to have a look at it, but it looks a hell of a lot more open than the other location. Also, they've added distance targets at about 9 kilometers and a ship's test drive for heavy fleet. This is really nice. So what they've done is you now get a destroyer, a light cruiser, and then a heavy cruiser, but sometimes the heavy cruiser is also a light cruiser, just like a beefy one. So that's really nice. More targets on a test drive is better, especially when you're trying to work out how much your damage does to stuff. Hopefully we see, test drives expand even more, just like how on stuff like the German air test drive and also the Soviet low-tier test drive, there's just a train going around, and I really wish that that was expanded upon in other areas of the game. The other location and mission updates, so Japan, the location of the airfield and helipad for the southern team has been changed. Hopefully that means that it isn't as far away, because both of them are incredibly far away from the general area, and they're also behind a massive mountain, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Visibility in naval battles on the high seas has been improved. It seems like they're going for longer battles when it comes to naval, so a lot more distance covered. Therefore, we're going to see, more defined models at longer range, and I think that's only a positive thing, as long as it doesn't have too much of an effect on performance. There is also a new Enduring Confrontation location, Malta. Very much looking forward to that. Really do like Malta as a general map, and also it's one of those which can definitely be a naval map and also an air map, so it'll be interesting to see if they try and merge those two ideas. Naval bombers now have their own aircraft preset. If possible, naval bombers have been used out where they are lacking, normal variants are used. So there you go. You can bring out naval bombers, not just normal bombers. Naval bombers will also attempt to use torpedoes against ships if there is a torpedo preset for the aircraft at this rank. Oh my god, like the AI is learning. Watch out. We might get to good old Tetsuo levels, which, were back in the day. If you don't remember the old school War Thunder AI, let's just say it was aggressive and it was mean and it would tear you apart. It was a hell of a lot of fun. Thanks to new script functionality, it has become possible to fix the situation when the opponent's respawn points could overlap the allied spawn points with an active convoy. Oh, lovely. That's a nice little fix. So we have some ground vehicle model, damage model, characteristic, and weaponry changes. The main one is that the viewing angles for default ground sites have been increased, so therefore you'll be able to see more when we're talking about around the place, which is kind of nice. Then on top of this as well, we have the T-72A, the ZTZ-96, Challenger 2, and the Breda. The camera position for the Commander in SB has been fixed. I hope that means that it's in the correct position right now, instead of a more advantageous position, because it was in a bit of an odd one before, especially on the T-72 with the gun where it is. The BMP-3, so it gets the thermal modification, that's basically what it's saying here, and also modification of the armor piercing belt has been moved but to available by default. Oh, lovely stuff. So you're not stuck with pretty much doing absolutely no damage with the machine until you get some modifications. That's nice to see. The Challenger 2 gets the Dorchester armor. This is an upgrade package which goes on the lower glacis and also the sides of the Challenger. The main thing is, though, is on the dev server, it wasn't available as, an actual physical... well, it was there as a physical model on the machine, but it wasn't actually giving any armor stats, so therefore we don't really know what that's going to have in it. The M42 Duster, they've changed the mass by 150 kilos, and also the scope module description now contains the FOV values. That is awesome. More information is power. The M3 Bradley and the ADATs, the hull armor has been adjusted, the hull armor material has been fixed, and the aluminium armor durability has been corrected. Will this mean that it will get hull broken? Who knows? Tune in next time. The M163 Sedan, Mistral, and Sedan 25, the M113A1, and also the TOW M901, so pretty much everything with the 113 chassis. Type armor used on the hull raft has been changed from 7039 to 5083, and low caliber 20 to 35mm APDS shells have been added to the destruction functionality when passing through 2 or multiple barrier armor. Oh, nice, so they should be performing a little bit more realistically. The durability of the following armor aluminium rafts have been revised, so you can see there what's going on. Basically, some of them are increasing, others are not. Basically, only one of them is actually increasing. The others are very, very low on the durability angle, so therefore they're going to be a lot weaker. The M1542, the Contrario, the 7530, basically all the Semaventes, lower tiers, plus the M43 Leoncello. They've added smoke grenades modification. Lovely stuff. So is that one out the booty or is that one out the top? We'll have to check that. The Su-76M maximum speed has been changed from 40 to 30. Goddamn. Elevation angles have been changed from -3 to -3 plus 25 to -5 plus 15. That's actually kind of nice, because the Su-76 really does struggle with getting the gun on target, so that extra degrees, especially of gun depression, will really help a lot. The nomenclature and characteristics of ammunition for the T-60, which is used, have been corrected. Armor-piercing incendiary tracer shell has been changed to armor-piercing incendiary without the tracer. Interesting. The Samoa S-35, the SAL-40, the BIS, and the TUR-B1s, the ability to neutral turn has been added. Oh boy, the Behemoth is coming back, and it's coming back in style. Luckily for the Operation Frost, you can't use the B1 TUR, since, you know, it's only rank 2 instead of rank 3, but my god, whenever there is stuff coming around for operations and it allows rank 2 vehicles, the TUR is going to become a monster. The SAL will still be useless and the Samoa will still be garbage. The B1 BIS will be nice though. The T-64B, T-80B, and T-80U, their restriction on the number of ATGMs they can carry has been removed. So if you want to, you could take a full ammo rack of ATGMs in those vehicles. So have fun with that. I don't think you should, but at least it is kind of there. Maybe it'll be nice for custom battles. The ADATS gets a laser rangefinder now, so, you know, it's even better than it was before. The AB-43 and AS-42, the engine power is increased to 110 horsepower, so they should be able to motor around the battlefield a little bit faster. The two M4A4s in the Chinese tech tree are going up by 2 kilometers an hour on their maximum speed, so oh boy, you know, really quick now. The 120mm OFLG-1 and the OFL-F1, the characteristics of the shells have been revised and clarified. One went up by a lot of penetration, and the other one went down by some. So if you're an avid Italian player, especially an Ariete player, make sure to check those stats before you go into battle. The 90mm M82 shell, which is pretty much on a lot of the American tanks, the initial speed has been changed by 6 meters per second, so it's now 813 meters per second. Massive change, going to have huge impacts, obviously not. The 128mm on the Jagdtiger, the Mouse, and the E100, the initial speed of the round, the PZGR-43, has gone up by 10, so it's at 940 meters per second now, and a bug for the number of HE shells in ground vehicles where the penetration of the shells dropped to distance has been fixed. That is actually a larger change than a lot of these, but it is also incredibly good that we can see all of these different bug fixes, you know, that they're doing. Remember, when people say that Gaijin don't do any bug fixes, the majority of these that you see here are bug fixes, because of the fact that they are changing stuff to be in line with historical data, or they're changing stuff which is bugged in the game through modification. Aircraft models, damage models, and also characteristics and weaponry changes. The Do-217, so the J1, J2, N1, and N2 are all being classed as fighters now, which seems kind of odd, because I'm pretty sure some of them were night fighters, especially the N series, but, you know, it is how it is. Maybe that's something to do with spawn point cost when it comes to ground, and also simulator. The A2D, the AM1, and the Yak-2 are all being labeled as an attacker. That's awesome, because that pretty much means that now we have more targets to kill when we get that attacker special task, or if we need to kill ground targets and attacker, we now have more options. That's always positive. The F-86K, the Pyramirski, and the T2, the pilot model has been changed, so I should have actually had a look at them. And the Yak-4, it gets a bomb sight. Isn't that lovely? I really like the Yak-2 and the Yak-4. If you haven't played them yourself, I highly recommend them. The Naval respawn possibility on an aircraft carrier has been removed. Well, yeah, because it can't take off from one. The H-1Z, the effective screen exhaust systems on the guidance of the infrared air-to-head missile heads has been clarified, so hopefully it actually has an effect. The F-86, all modifications. Wait, I don't like this. I don't like how it's all modifications. This is normally worrying. So all of the modifications of the F-86, the MiG-15, and the Me-262. Aileron damage after breaking off damaged tail upon impact with the ground has been fixed. Aileron damage after breaking off tail upon impact with the ground. Okay, so if your tail falls off, your aileron shouldn't also fall off at the same time, at least because of the tail falling off. Fair enough. So we can do slightly better crash landings now. The all modifications for the BF-110, indication of the release shutdown of the chassis mechanism in case of damage to the main and tail struts of the chassis has been fixed. That's lovely. So we're getting some really nice damage model changes here. Ooh, B-17s. So all modifications of the B-17s, the armor of the lower ball defense turret has been fixed. I hope that little guy gets a little bit more armor, but who knows? We'll have to check. The MiG-15 Bish, displaying the bomb pylons in the version without suspended weaponry has been fixed. Nice. Ooh, my. So all of the Eurocopter Tigers in some variants of suspended weaponry, the display of the presence of the Mistral missiles in the launch container after launching a missile has been fixed. They've also added a G-suit to the Tiger Cat, the F7F3, the A2D, and also the J29D, so isn't that lovely? The G5N and the G8N, they've actually added a crew member to them, so the number of the crew members displayed on the vehicle card has now also been fixed, and the BB1 and the SU2, all of the mods, the A20G and A26B10, the variant of the weaponry preset without the suspended weapons has been added, so you can just go all gun-ho, you can run them without any secondary armaments, just basically use them as kind of fighters if you feel like it. The AH-1Z, the displaying of the aero pylons for the versions without AIM-9L missiles has been fixed. Nice. The Phantom II, the British Phantom, and the T2, the parameters of the ammunition used for the main armament have been clarified. And tracers have also been added where it was necessary, and belts for stealth attack have been added as well. So if you didn't know or didn't play the Phantom, or you know the T2, which has access to the 20mm, the revolver gun, so could you class it as a revolver gun? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They have the same gun. So the problem, or the same type of gun, the problem with it is when you fired the main ammunition, the tracers just didn't appear. So technically the shells were invisible, even if you didn't want them to be. So it's nice to see that they've added a stealth belt to keep it, so if you want it invisible you can, but they've also added back-in tracers if you need that extra help. The FGR-2, displaying the central pylon when using a cannon container, has been fixed. That's nice to see that bug fixed, which was brought up a few weeks ago. The F-22 and F-24 Spitfires, so the Griffins, cannon modification has been changed to the modification from the 43-year version. Wait a second. No. Still no Mark 5s. Still no Mark 5s. That's so sad. Press F for the Mark 24. Yep. That really sucks. Well, maybe at some point. The Mark 24 did have Mark 2s, but it also had a version with Mark 5s. Maybe at some point we'll get that. The Reaper, so the British Meteor Premium, wrong modification of the use of HVAR missiles has been removed. So that's nice. The P-51A, so... Oh, the Thunder League one. Machine gun ammunition belts have been replaced with wartime belts. No ABID. God damn it. The HS123, all mods. There's more than... Oh, no, there is more than one. BTD, the Uhu, and also the Act-4. The presets without suspended weaponry has been deleted. So some aircraft can now be used as fighters, and others actually, well, they can still be used as fighters, but you're going to get that extra weight on top with these secondary armaments. So it looks like they're basically just clarifying what attackers are, and also what bombers are. The next thing is the Hunter F6. The need to research a modification of the SRAM missiles for the usage of weaponry preset with SNEB missiles has been fixed, so that's nice. They do actually need to put a link in the source there, but that's okay. H34, selection of the belts for the M3 cannons has been added. Lovely stuff, so you can actually have a little bit more, more player choice is always good. SP2, all modifications. I hope that means the hidden ones as well. Correlation between the research of the modification and weaponry presets has been fixed. Lovely. G-links and links Mark 1. Selection of the belts for the Oerlikon CAD-B cannon has been added. Selection of the belts for the Oerlikon CAD-B. Okay, so pretty much the same as the H-34. Once again, more player choice, always good. The Mi-28H, the possibility of penetration of the cockpit with 12.7mm armor-piercing ammunition for frontal glass and 7.62mm for side glass has been fixed. And also, they've added a missile launcher indicator and also an automatic firing of the heat traps or flares when guided missiles approach is detected for these vehicles, the H-1Z, the Mi-28H, and the Eurocopter Tigers, all of them. So yeah, once again, it's going to be really fun facing those premium helicopters with automatic flares, or the top, the top tier ones. There wasn't enough of a gap already. Why not just make them better? The Pyramirsky, the possibility of using 50-kilo bombs and also 100-kilo bombs has been added. That's really nice. Just gives it an extra little bit of oomph if it's required. The MiG-15, the armor has been fixed. Additional armor plates has been added, and also the armored seat has been removed. So I'm wondering if it'll get more protection from the front, but less protection from the back. The POTES 633 armor heading has been added. The Lincoln B Mark II ammunition boxes in the X-ray view have been fixed. All modifications of the PBY-5, the armor has been fixed, and the M3 cannon, the color of the tracer of the shells has been changed. Why have you done that? The M3 cannon used to look absolutely beautiful. It used to have white tracers, I believe. Hopefully they haven't changed it too much. The M4, M10 cannons, the duration of the self-destruction delay of the M54HE shell has been changed to 8 seconds, and then the HC-37 penetration value of AP and HE shells have also been clarified. The initial speed of the Mk108 shells have been fixed. So the only question is, have they gone up or have they gone down? Because, let's see. Oh, they've gone up. Okay. So the Mk108s are the slow ones. So they're getting increased to 525. So they're actually going to be faster than they were before. Oh boy, okay. So yeah, you might have to have a little bit of trouble heading on ME-262s again because of the fact that they're going to have increased velocity. So make sure if you play around that BR-070 that you remember that. Otherwise, you're going to get hit before you are used to. The M49A, M51, and M49 rockets, the main parameters have been clarified, so that's good. And now we're on to Naval. So there's a bunch of stuff for Naval and also some economy research stuff, which is fun. So the Naval stuff, armor-piercing values for all armor-piercing, semi-piercing, and HE shells with the base fuse have now been converted using the Jacob DeMara formula. Wonderful. So now everything should be on the same playing field when it comes to Naval, not just as it is in ground. The search radars, escort radars, and artillery fire directors have been added for the first group of naval vessels. Interesting. So it isn't just because basically the way that it worked for these ships, at least on the dev server, was you had an air radar, so you would be able to see, what's coming at you aviation-wise, and also some of them were able to track their targets. So these are the ones which have got radar. You got the Project 159, the Project 35, the PR-206, 206M, the Boot Project 206, the Asheville, Chikugo, PGO-2, the Isuzu, and the Albatross class. So hopefully those ones, which are pretty much like the really good, rank 2 machines, if you have a look at it, then hopefully, I think some breach into rank 3, but I mainly believe it's rank 2 stuff. Hopefully they have quite a large impact in the game, and we'll see if radar can, revive. Well, pretty much a lot of these as well have really high research costs, so there needs to be a better reason to research them, and maybe radar is that one. Search radars and radar trackers operate similar to ground force radars. Search radars have a detection state radius of more than 50 kilometers. Tracking radars give a target designation at a distance of up to 30 kilometers, so they're going to be really useful in that EC mode. Fire directors give target designation at a distance of up to 5 kilometers and can capture targets only spotted with binos. That's good. You can set up radar controls in the controls menu. Obviously, you should do that. Please note that this is a test application of radar in naval battles. Based on stats, experience, and application, radar parameters may change in the future. My feeling is they're going to get a lot shorter because 50 kilometers is a hell of a distance, especially when most maps you spawn around about 15 kilometers away from each other, apart from on the very much large ones. The 1934 and 1936 B destroyers torpedoes have been changed from the E's to the A's, so they should actually be worse now. The 37mm HE round for the M4 initial speed has been corrected. The 40mm Bofors clip capacity has been changed to 4 rounds. Rate of fire remains unchanged. Okay, so that shouldn't change too much. Whenever they screw with Bofors, I always get worried because I really enjoy using them. The 455mm Mark 12 torpedo minimum speed has been changed to 27 knots, so that's definitely not slow. Elco 80-footer PT556. One of the .50 Brownings on the bow dual MG station has been fixed. Previously, it only fired 1 round. So, can you imagine, like, oh, I've done my job. Hope you enjoyed that round. See you later. The Jaguar Class 140, a bug has been fixed with disappearing 40mm Bofors shells when switching shell type. Oh, that would have been annoying. Moskva Leader. The traverse angles of the stern main caliber turret has been increased to plus or minus 140. Nice stuff. A little bit more maneuverability for that machine. The 20mm C-30 cannons have been replaced with C-38s on the following ships. So a bunch of German destroyers, the 1936B, 1936A Mob, and the 1939 T-22. Also the K-8, 1944, aiming points of the aft 13.2mm Type 93 twin machine gun has been fixed. The Crim's getting a change. The name of the rear 37mm 70K cannon has been corrected. And the 206M, the 57mm armor-piercing BR-281U shell has been added for research. Gonna have to check out what that shell actually does. Does sound incredibly spicy though, so I'm looking forward to it. The 88mm 76 SKC-32 on the Kern and the Nürnberg shells, the initial speed has been increased by a lot, from 820 to 1060. So that's actually going to make a big difference against those long-range battles. The naval modifications. So the Clemsons, which are rough to use, let's say, the Clemson DD336 and DD213, they have a new 4-inch shell, so look out for that. They have 2 new shells. They have a HE Mark 15 with a base fuse, so that should be lovely, and also an AP Mark 16 with special common. You have a little bit of something for everything. A little bit of pen with the base, a little bit of pen with the AP, but the base fuse, if it works correctly, should be lovely to see too. The naval characteristics and damage model. Hull break parameters have been changed for boats, depending on the boat size, and simultaneous damage caused by HE shells, starting from a caliber of 100mm or higher in general, will be fatal. Okay, but the problem is, once again, with this hull break thing, you haven't defined terms. I need to know what, depending on boat size and simultaneous damage caused by HE, I need numbers here. I don't need this. I just need numbers, right? Because once you put this line in, that means that it should work and people are going to get a false impression of how it works instead of just giving them the raw numbers to work out if they're correct or wrong. The Admiral Hipper main caliber turret armor has been fixed. The armor plates added to the Vierling 20mm quad AA guns. So I believe that's the one which is actually on the main gun. Number and size of fuel tanks have been fixed. Anti-torpedo bulkhead extended to armored traverses. Conning towers have been added, and the armor of the control distance post has been fixed. So they've really added a lot to the Hipper. That's probably because the Eugen just got released. The MBK-161, Type 1936B, Type 1934A, 44, the aiming limits and dead zones of the main caliber turrets have been fixed. I have actually been really enjoying the German destroyers. in general, so I really want to see what they've changed on them. Because so far, they've just been great to play. The Ognavoy, the PR30, bridge and radio room damage models have also been fixed. So once again, some nice little bug fixes. The interface, the 40mm Japanese autocannon designation changed from 40mm 62HI Type 1941 AA gun to the 40mm 62 Vickers autocannon. Good old Vickers getting in there at the end. The economy and research, so the B6 in SB is going up to 5.3. That's probably because it's a really nice gunship in SB. And also the XM1GM is going up in all game modes to 9.3. Get stuffed, XM1, honestly. And all of the other damn premiums around 8.7, you can also get stuffed. Put them all up. This is a good start, just like the OI40 as well. Eventually, we will, hopefully, see the other ones join their brothers. But yeah, the XM1 is a terror, and it has been for a very long time, and this will quell it a little bit, but it'll still be incredibly strong at 9.3. It's a really good vehicle, really good pickup. I'd wait for it when it's on sale and have some fun. The customization, so the special task Meteor Shower now does not count helicopters, so you can't just go around battering them. New player icons have also been added for ground forces, also French, Italian, and Chinese air forces. Player icons unlock for completing tasks. If you haven't seen these player icons, they look really, really nice. I did show them in a video, but, if you've missed them, maybe, have a look at them tomorrow. And they all have also, as it said, tasks related to them. So this actually means that you can grind them out for yourself. And they can be stuff you can use to just, play with and have fun with. And also separate goals to push yourself towards in War Thunder, which is nice. They've also added new challenges for the Swedish Air Forces. Lovely. Hopefully we get the medals soon. Night modification icon has been changed for helicopters with thermal images, so hopefully it now clarifies it a little bit more. Now some game mechanics stuff. So the shell parameters for the 85, 88, and 90mm AI-controlled AA guns has been changed in order to prevent one-shots, so they can't just go around donking people, which we've seen a hell of a lot of. So that's nice. It's still, you're still going to have the odd 20 or 37mm, which just gives you a good old rigging, but there's definitely some, it feels like some air maps where the AA is a little bit too overtuned. So to see that, I'm very happy for. Hopefully that means that there will be no pilot knocks anytime soon. New option, fixed gun direction in mouse view, has been added. The option allows you to block turrets and guns rotation for ground vehicles and naval vehicles while in mouse view. So yeah, you don't have to hold C anymore. You can just turn the thing. I mean, I don't know why you would need that option, but once again, more options is power. In RB and SB modes, AT gems now follow the crosshair, not the cursor position. So this is a big change for the way that AT gems work. The reason why it's a big change is now the AT gem is beholden to how fast your turret turns or how fast your vehicle turns. Before, what you could do, especially from a third-person position, you could fire the AT gem and guide it in with your mouse. So you didn't have to worry about your crosshair, you didn't have to worry about where your turret was looking, and you could also pull off some ridiculous things like curving AT gems around houses and stuff like that. In this case now, what you have to do is you have to line up your AT gem on your crosshair instead of your cursor position. So now the AT gem is beholden to how fast your turret is and also where it is looking. So for me, this is an awesome change. It makes it more realistic. It means that people cannot pull off some ridiculous that they used to be able to do. In SB mode, vehicles with laser rangefinders and gun stabilizers automatically adapt their sights to the measured range. So now there is an even larger gap between those who have and those who have not. So have fun facing stuff with gun stabilizers and laser rangefinders now, because they get basically the arcade way that rangefinders work. Have fun. It's going to be really fun when you don't have that modification and you come up against people that do. The sound, though, the game's sound system has been drastically reworked. CPU load has been reduced due to the sound processing block optimization, new RAM compression methods for a part of the sound assets, and also composition changing of a large number of sound events in order to reduce the number of simultaneously played sound assets. So what they're doing is they're increasing the amount of sounds that you can hear at once. So therefore you should be able to hear more of your environments. You should also be able just to hear more of what's going on. And I think when Gentlespie mined it, it was about 90 to about 120 or 90 to about 130. So it's a decent chunk increase in what you'll be able to hear. So this, once again, is just better for the player. You know, this is just more information going into the brain and more information to work out what's going on. So from these preliminary notes, there's nothing that really stands out to be bad. Everything looks very good. Now, I am interested to see how the radar works for the Naval in the long run, since I don't think a ton of people will be trying it quickly. And also, the multi-map for Enduring Confrontation, I want to see what goes on there. Do they implement aviation and naval, or is it just going to be a one-stop shop? I hope you all had a wonderful day, or have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, Jay Wilt, John Ryman, Joseph Anders, Martinez, Moxie, Super Cacti, Uyins Terry, Elove Goat, and Seductive Trashcan for supporting the channel.